Zion is the most unique athlete I've coached to do.
Zion, yes, sir!
A human highlight reel. A force that defies the laws of physics. An athletic marvel that bewilders even the brightest sports scientists. Zion Williamson is a rare star with all the ingredients to take college basketball by storm this season in Durham.
What's going through your mind when you're ready to unleash that jam?
Break the rim.
We're going to be talking about this kid's highlights all year long.
That is head on the rim stuff.
Maybe the most popular basketball player in the world outside of the NBA, Williamson is still a bit of a conundrum for NBA scouts. Despite his mainstream popularity, Zion didn't participate in several of the scouting hotspots like FIBA Play or the Nike Hoop Summit. But it shouldn't take long for NBA teams to get familiar with Zion, who, although unique, looks the part of a top 3 pick in the 2019 NBA Draft.
He will be the face of college basketball this year.
Get used to seeing Zion Williamson on SportsCenter. He is going to be a fixture.
At 6'6", close to 280 pounds with a rare blend of speed, hops, power, and agility, Zion Williamson is arguably the most unique athlete modern basketball has ever seen. A true outlier, an exception to the rule. Despite his frame, he glides in midair. Whether it's off 1 foot or 2, Zion looks like he's playing on a Nerf hoop, hammering home dunks with flair and style. He changes ends like a guard, sprinting the floor to create lob opportunities in the blink of an eye. He finishes with ferocity, and according to P3 Sports Science data, generates more force when he leaps in the air than any other athlete they've tested aside from Andre Drummond. He's able to use his power and quickness as a cutter, shedding defenders for open dunks. Even at 280 pounds, he's nimble, dropping opponents with Euro steps in transition. He weaves through traffic with impressive body control, playing low to the floor and covering a significant amount of ground with big jump stops, not needing much time to explode quickly on his second jump. And then there's his power and quickness. Few collegiate centers can move him off his spots on the interior, and his remarkable footwork allows him to beat defenders to the spot and explode with ease. At 6'6", 272 pounds, we've never seen a prospect with Zion's dimensions and athletic gifts. But the one player who does come to mind is Charles Barkley, who shared a similarly powerful frame with less than ideal height, but the motor to more than make up for it. Williamson isn't just a physical marvel. He plays with tremendous energy, putting his body and gifts to good use as a rebounder and defensive playmaker. He's a terror to keep off the offensive glass as he reads rebounds ricocheting off the rim and beats everyone to the ball more often than not. He's energetic yet instinctual and has the standstill leaping ability to climb the ladder, snatching defensive rebounds at the highest point amongst the trees. Unlike most elite high school prospects, Williamson knows who he is and is more than willing to get on the floor for loose balls, changing games with his energy. Coaches will quickly fall in love with his low-maintenance style and affinity for making winning plays.
The deflection, Williamson on the floor, trying to gather in that loose ball.
Oh, wow.
The effort from Williamson.
Wow. I mean, I got to tell you, that'll give you goosebumps right there.
Then there's the defensive element. Now he's still improving his technique as a perimeter defender, but he's able to make plays all over the floor, and more often than not, willing to do exactly that. Although a goaltend, this chase down block is a prime example of not only his ridiculous hops, but his willingness to make the extra effort. If he can continue evolving into more of a rim protector, that bodes well for his ability to exist as a small ball 5 in the future. While sometimes too aggressive, he likes to make plays in the passing lanes as well, showing sharp instincts and incredible closing speed. Zion is far more than just a high motor athlete. He's a unique shot creator who figures to be a mismatch nightmare at the collegiate level and beyond. Zion is a grab-and-go threat, attacking defensive rebounds and pushing with power and pace in either direction. He can play high to low, slow to fast, keeping defenders off balance before exploding to the rim. He's an excellent ball handler for his size, keeping the ball low with a tight handle and knifing through defenders before finishing or finding an open teammate. In the half court, he's almost impossible to keep in front, even without a reliable jump shot. He mixes in sharp footwork, a strong handle, and his low-to-the-ground style with powerful bursts to get to the rim, not needing much of a gather to explode. He changes direction impressively, defaulting to a left-to-right behind the back whenever his first move's taken away, oftentimes finishing with finesse. He has touch shots, floaters, and is far more than just a dunker. Williamson also loves hard in-and-out dribbles to his right, cashing in on his handle and unique ability to get low to the ground before exploding off his back foot toward the rim. 280-pounders rarely have that type of twitch, but Zion is clearly a physical marvel unlike any other. While he's not much of a shooter right now, his ability to play with the ball along with his footwork does suggest that he may be able to develop into a decent pull-up shooter inside the arc. Zion doesn't only use that handle and rare agility to score, he has excellent vision, maybe the most underrated part of his game. After he shakes his man and helps defenders collapse, Zion generally makes the right read, whether it's a kick out to a shooter or a drop off to the opposite big. Williamson can also play some pick and roll, which allows coaches to get really creative using him in a variety of different actions. He plays with his head up and can dissect defenses without getting a piece of the paint. While it's clearly important that he develops as a shooter, Zion is still able to provide spacing thanks to his ability to break down defenses and facilitate from all over the floor. The biggest hole in Zion's game is his lack of shooting. According to our database, he attempted only 36 threes in over 1,200 minutes, connecting on only 19%. A career 64% free throw shooter, Williamson's jumper has actually looked a bit more reliable in Duke's summer preseason action, but to expect consistent results at this stage doesn't seem realistic. Except for when he can rise up around the free throw line, his pull-up is slow and rigid. While he doesn't exactly need a jump shot right now to be effective, teams will certainly start game planning, packing the paint and taking away driving lanes. This play is a good example, as Williamson can get a bit predictable and Nasir Little takes full advantage with the strip. NBA scouts will clearly want to see Zion improve as a perimeter shooter. He doesn't have to be a knockdown guy, but just make enough to force a hand contest, which will allow him to use that freakish athleticism, handle, and playmaking ability to exploit defense. Williamson is a defensive playmaker, and even at his weight, his footwork should allow him to guard on the perimeter, but his discipline just isn't quite there yet. He's more focused on steals and blocks, and doesn't always close out with effort and sound technique. Far too many lazy, lackadaisical closeouts during Duke's summer tour in Canada. Zion gambles way too often on the perimeter as well. While he can get out in the passing lanes with the best of them, he hangs his teammates out to dry way too often, resulting in open looks. Here, Zion shows no urgency rotating out of the corner to the shooter, not even making an effort to stunt at the ball. He has an excellent motor overall, but it doesn't always show up when he has to perform tasks that might not end up on SportsCenter. He can also improve his fundamentals when contesting shooters, and in the preseason he had some issues executing switches on dribble handoffs, failing to get a hand up, or making little effort to keep the ball in front. Given his mental makeup and physical gifts, it should only be a matter of time before Zion becomes a better one-on-one and team defender, but NBA teams will want to make sure he can stay lean and slide on the perimeter at close to 280 pounds. Lastly, Zion lacks elite positional length with a 6'10 wingspan and an 8'7 standing reach. While this is typical for wings, it's not exactly ideal for a modern 4'5 in Zion's mold. While he generally makes up for it with freakish bounce and strength, Zion is bothered by length at times, especially when he's in traffic and isn't able to load up and get off the ground to his full capacity. Zion does still have a skill base to lean on in traffic, but his lack of elite reach is one of the reasons he's not viewed as a surefire number one pick in the 2019 draft, at least at this stage of the game.
Everybody loves Zion Williamson.
What a rebound. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
He's everything a coach would want.
I'm just trying to be the best. And to be the best, you got to do stuff that nobody else can do. You have to separate yourself from others.
We've never seen a player quite like Zion Williamson, with his sheer power and gravity-defying elevation. But it's Williamson's willingness to shine in his role, along with his underrated skill, that makes him so special. A YouTube celebrity with the motor of an unheralded recruit, Williamson's energy is infectious, and he's proven that there's far more to his game than just thunderous dunks. There aren't many player comparisons for Zion. He's not a straightforward evaluation for scouts, but in the midst of the small ball era, front offices should quickly fall in love with the unique prospect, and Zion has a legitimate chance to hear his name called at the top of June's 2019 NBA Draft.
Get out of the way when Zion wants it.
More than just what you see on YouTube.
I think Duke fans are going to see a whole lot of that during the season.
Playing in front of the crazies, I'm going to love it. I don't think there's nothing else like it.